Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz. Thanks to Ryan Henry for making InspireSmall.biz available to me and my YouTube guests. What's Indy's Trusted Servant? Well, that's me, Danny O'Malia. I do customer service training and keynote speaking about customer service. It's all about the culture of the organization, be it a business or a not-for-profit. I learned all of that from the hand of the master, my late father, Joe O'Malia, back in the O'Malia Food Market days. But even before that, when my dad owned a little grocery store in Broad Ripple, where the Vanguard Bar is now, at 62nd and Guilford, the store had one cash register and about 9 employees, one of which was a 9 and 10-year-old kid, me. He lost that store, long story we don't have time for. And he came back 10 years later and successfully launched O'Malia Food Markets with 9 stores and 950 employees. And I learned, among other things from Joe, never, ever, ever give up. If you're interested in my customer service trainings or keynotes for your organization, give me a call at 317-413-9062. What's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz? I like to describe it as lively, local YouTube interviews and lively YouTube interviews where you can feel the pulse of Indy. And today my guests are my friend Sherry Bush from Catholic Business Exchange and Dave Bethuram, and they are with Catholic Charities, an organization that does a whole lot of good around central Indiana. So Cheri and Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, it's great to have you both. Real briefly, and we'll go ladies first, give our viewers a quick rundown about your background and where you went to Catholic school and all of that.
Right. Well, I was mentioning before the show started, I was baptized at Christ the King. I attended school on the south side at Holy Name, and I went to Roncalli High School.
Okay. And where'd you go to college?
I went to Butler University for undergrad, and I am a very proud Purdue Boilermaker for graduate school.
For graduate, and majored in what? At Butler?
Butler, I majored in psychology, and at Purdue, I majored in child development and family studies.
Aha! Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Dave, what's your background?
Okay. Well, I grew up here in Indianapolis and went to Christ the King Parish on the north side. Went to Christ the King Parish School. Then went to Chittard High School right across the street. Then I went to Marion College, but now Marion University.
Yes, indeed.
And then after that...
And majored in?
I majored in religious studies and sociology.
Okay.
And then I went to Christian Theological Seminary in Butler University. Got a degree in pastoral care and personality theory and religion. 2 different master's degrees there.
And I think you told me off the air that you taught religion at Cathedral and some other places.
Yeah, I went to the Cathedral right after I graduated from Marion, taught freshmen and juniors religion. And then after that, went to Our Lady of Greenwood Parish and was the Director of Religious Education and Pastoral Associate for 11 years.
And you got to the Archdiocese how long ago?
I started at the Archdiocese in 1991.
And when did you go with the Archdiocese?
Well, I was a youth minister at St. Thomas earlier in my career, and then I've been at the Archdiocese now for almost 7 years.
Okay, 11 years, 7 years with the Archdiocese. Okay, great. So a lot of Catholic background, and I am very seldom flanked by a Roncalli and Chittard graduate, just so you all know. So tell us a little bit about, well, tell us everything you can about Catholic Charities. I'm blown away by all the stuff you do, from food pantries to, programs for people like my late sister-in-law, Down syndrome sister-in-law, Jeannie, and so on and so forth. But you guys do a lot of good. So tell us about all of that and then how you're funded and all of that stuff. And I don't know who wants to go first.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go ahead and kind of give you a little bit of background. We've been around since 1919, so it's been over 100 years that Catholic Charities has been in the Indianapolis area and surrounding communities.
And you're located in the Archdiocesan headquarters.
Yes, and then we also have a shelter, homeless shelter, emergency shelter that's located in Hallville. on Holmes Avenue.
Is that right next to Holy Trinity?
It is.
Okay.
It's on the same property. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's that called?
That is called Holy Family Shelter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do people live there, stay there briefly, or
They
what?
do. They can stay there. It's generally homeless families. We consider a homeless family anyone that is a parent with children, a married couple with no children, and a woman who is pregnant.
Okay. Okay.
And not raising any other children.
Okay. And how many folks would stay there at one time?
We have 22 rooms there, so we have anywhere between maybe 55 to 85 people a night.
Including children?
Including children.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I did not know about that one. See, I knew I wouldn't know about everything, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the average age of our resident is 9 years old. So it tells you that majority of our residents are children, and most of them are single mothers that are younger.
Younger single mothers. Mm-hmm. Okay. God love you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So continue on.
Yeah. So we have that, and then we have a variety of basic needs services. We have a crisis office that provides a food pantry, clothing, as well as helping with rent assistance, utility assistance.
So where's the food pantry?
The food pantry is actually located at 14th and Illinois, right behind the Catholic Center.
Okay.
It's called the Xavier Building.
Oh, that's right. That used to be owned by the library.
Yeah, that's right. It used to be the public library film.
Yeah, yeah. I used that when I taught at Cathedral. I would go over there and get films to show my classes.
Yes,
yeah,
I did too. So yeah, that worked out great. So the especially the days you didn't want to teach, but but anyway, we serve probably 20,000 people a year out of that particular facility with food. People can come in once every 7 days to get food if they'd like.
Are there any specific parameters for eligibility to get the food?
No.
Okay, so what are the hours of that food pantry?
The hours are Monday through Thursday, and they're open between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 3.
Okay, okay, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 3, basically.
Right.
So anybody can walk in off the street and get food there.
That's correct.
And is that what building is the St. Francis Xavier building? But is it called something? The food pantry has got a name?
It's called the crisis office.
The crisis office. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we do have a lot of people that look for assistance with rent and utility assistance as well.
So you can go in there and get help with that?
Yes, if they're eligible.
If they're eligible. Okay, great.
In addition, we also, some people in there moving around, they lose their birth certificates, and so they need to get their license, or they may get ID, so they can come to us and we can help.
You can help them with basic, paperwork needs, right?
Yep.
Well, that's great. Who would have known?
Yeah. Medical needs too. All the types of medicines in which people need for, let's say, arthritis or for diabetes, we'll continue to help them with that too.
Okay,
as well.
That's terrific. See, this is information I didn't know, so that means most of my viewers don't know it either. Okay, so if you know somebody in need, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Cheri and talk about some other stuff. We'll go back and forth.
Sure. So we have 4 programs for seniors. You referred to the one that your sister-in-law took advantage of, and that's a caring place. That is located at 46th and Capitol, and that is a day adult program for seniors who have cognitive deficiencies. It's a safe place for them to go, and we have lots of activities all day long. They're fed a meal. We even have a transportation service. And this is primarily for families who are caring for seniors, but they're working. They can't stay at home. So to support them, we have a caregiver support program, and that's offered on the north side and the south side. The south side location is at St. Mark, and people who are supporting elder adults with cognitive deficiencies can come together and support each other.
For some reason, I have to tell this story. So picture Diet Right Cola in a can, kind of a red, white, and gray can, right? So my sister-in-law, Jeannie, going to Caring Place. Caring Place calls Rita in the middle of the day one day and says, your sister just cracked open a can of Bud Light because it looked so much like the Diet Right Cola.
That's right.
So Caring Place is a fabulous place, 46th and Capitol, right around the corner from St. Thomas, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if somebody wants to avail themselves of the services of Caring Place, where do they go?
Well, they can visit our website,
Oh, there you go. There you go.
createhope.org, and that will take you to all the information that you need
For just Caring Place or for all of the
for all of our programs.
for all of
All
the
of our
programs.
programs, right.
And what is that again?
helpcreatehope.org.
Helpcreatehope.org. I can very, very briefly recommend Caring Place to anybody that has a functionally disabled adult that they're taking care of. Okay.
Thank you.
Jeannie loved that place. What else? What's next?
For your viewers who are 55 and older who are interested in volunteering for the programs we're talking about today, at Catholic Charities and beyond, we have our Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and that is coordinated by Monica Woodsworth, and you can call and she can let you know of programs all across the city who need your help. And then the last program for seniors is called Senior Companions. So for people out there who need someone to come in and keep their loved one company, we have volunteers that come in and do that.
And I was telling you about your employee at the Archdiocese, Sarah Watson. Her dad is one of my best friends from first grade, St. Michael's and Cathedral on. And they have availed themselves of that service.
Yes.
And the people and I go to visit my buddy, and the kids are really nice that come in there and take care of. They're not kids; they're young adults. They look like kids to me, though.
There you go. That's right.
So that's a wonderful program.
Yeah. We also have, in conjunction with that, caregiver support groups. So those individuals that are taking care of a loved one that either has a disability, either cognitively or physically, and that can be a challenge, as you could probably know how that could be. But Monica Woodsworth also has caregiver support groups that are able to meet and be able to talk to and be with one another, to be able to kind of just talk about what they need to do for themselves to take care of themselves, because caregivers so often, probably, especially spouses of those that they're taking care of, they're taking care of their husband or their wife, they really forget about their own health and the things that they need to be able to do.
They can get worn down really fast.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's there to support them and to give them resources that can help them and also their loved one.
Let's talk a little bit now. We're just scratching the surface here. You got a lot of other services, but before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about funding, how you guys exist. Okay, first of all, how many employees does Catholic Charities have?
In Indianapolis, we have 94.
I'm always blown away by the number of people that are employed by our various nonprofits, and I like people to know that. So people are earning a living working for Catholic Charities. So that's an additional advantage to the organization. So how do you guys get your money? You want to talk about that, Cheri or Dave?
Well, we have grants, and then we have contributions from foundations and people just like you, Danny. So we...
That's right. I forgot about that.
We didn't.
Thank you. Yeah, we're grateful for your support, and it's easy to make a gift to Catholic Charities. So people can write a check. They can go online. We accept gifts of stock. We have people that are older that have IRAs and they need to take that qualified charitable distribution. They can roll that right into Catholic Charities. We have people who leave us in their will. I'm always touched when there's a loved one who has passed away and the family says, in lieu of flowers, please send gifts to Catholic Charities.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful
It's
thing.
not good for the floral industry, though.
No.
Right?
Right.
No.
But that's very nice. That's very nice. And so do you have events like golf outings or, auctions or anything like that?
Well, we have an event in support of our Christmas store, which we haven't talked about yet.
Well, let's talk about that, but tell us about the event first and then
Sure.
tell us about the Christmas
So
store.
the event is on Sunday, July 16th.
good timing.
And that will be from 2 to 4 in the Xavier building. And that's located at 1435 North Illinois. You can come and bring a new unwrapped toy and tour our Christmas store and meet some of our volunteers.
And the Christmas store will be open at that location
Yes.
through Christmas?
The Christmas store will open, I believe, the last day of November, first day of December. It's whatever that Thursday is. We're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We love when people come and volunteer, and we serve about 900 families every year with Christmas. So it's about 4,000 people.
So the Christmas store is for kids to get toys? Is that the main thing?
Primarily, yes.
Yeah.
We do have some household items for mom and dad. Some of our families are in need of some very basic things like pots and pans or sheets. And so they are crock pot, so that they can get those items as well.
Can somebody drop an item off at the Xavier building any time, or does it have to be just that time of year?
What a great idea! Yes,
Okay.
they can.
You can. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So whether it's food item or something for Christmas, both of the crisis office and the Christmas store are co-located in the Xavier building.
Okay. So if I got pots and pans and I want to get rid of them, I could bring them there.
The Christmas store takes new items.
New items.
Yes.
Okay. New items. Okay. You can't get rid of your junk. Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
But our refugee program would probably be able to use it.
Tell us about that.
Oh.
What
Okay.
a great segue.
Yeah, I like that. We've been working since 1975, resettling refugees in the Indianapolis area since the time of Vietnamese war ended and they started coming over. Right now we are settling probably around 250, close to 310 refugees annually. Always planning for that. We work with the Department of State and the USCCB.
So these are people that are
Center.
coming here legitimately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And they are, and so most of the communities that we work with right now is the Burmese community, which is very
On the south side.
south side,
Yeah,
and also
big
on the
community.
northwest side, very large
Okay,
community.
yeah.
Burmese, Congolese, and of course we also helped when Camp Atterbury brought in the Afghans from refugees. We were
Okay.
there actually at the camp and helped with them in that whole process with the military department of refugees and also all the state entities along the way within that.
So it sounds like you guys look for needs and help fill them even beyond your normal programs.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
That's very nice.
Well, in addition to that, a lot of times they come to us because we've had experience working with that particular population, and so being able to do that. And so, and we house, we actually meet the refugees that fly in to our airport, and Indianapolis has been very welcoming to the refugees. And the airport has been very, very much so.
Well, that's nice. That's
And
nice.
so they come in and we meet them at the airport. They already have a place to stay that we got for them. They have initial food. They'll give them cash. These are all things that we're expected to do by virtue of the grant that we receive through the federal government.
The grant. Are you the grant writer?
I am not the grant writer.
Are you the grant writer?
I do a lot of the grant writing.
Okay.
But not
okay.
all of it.
Is that a highly specialized job of yours, or I mean, how difficult is that? I've always been fascinated by it, but I don't know much about it.
It can be difficult depending on the types of, grants that you're writing. We're a United Way agency as well, so I have to write grants for that because they have two different kinds of grants that we apply for. Some of our community grants are not quite as complicated. Of course, government grants are much more complicated because it's government.
What percentage of your income would be grants versus donations?
Probably, our grant is probably around 27%, but that's because some of our programming are almost all federally funded and sponsored by federal grants.
So that's outside of. Okay. Okay.
So that would be the refugee program, the senior companion program, and the RSVP program are all federal government, and we're the sponsoring agency that helps with that.
Okay, great. Sounds like your 94 employees are pretty busy,
They are very
right?
busy, yes,
And
and they're very talented.
they must get around a little bit too.
They do,
right?
Yeah.
So we haven't covered everything. We got about 5 minutes left. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Okay. Well, the one area in which in our community that has been just an area that has just really grown, and the need is mental health.
Okay.
And we have always provided mental health for quite a long time, since the 1970s. But I would say in the past couple of years, because of the trauma of COVID and the number of children that are trying to, and families that are trying to get used to that world, and now the world afterwards.
Yeah, the world afterwards.
It's been a very much of a challenge. So we do provide very thorough and trauma care for those individuals that need it. And so all of our counselors are trained in that particular area. We have it in Indianapolis. We're also in Morgan County. We work with IU Health there. Actually, we're actually in the hospital, and the physicians make the referrals of children and families to us, which is really very nice, because there in Morgan County, for every one professional therapist, there are over 17,000 people, 1,700 people that they would have to take care of. So there's not enough services that in that particular area. So in Morgan County, we're in Martinsville. We're now just extended beyond the Indianapolis area and in not only Morgan, but also in Jackson County, working with Schneck Medical Center.
Jackson County is where?
That's in Seymour.
Seymour. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. I just never knew about that stuff. Are we missing anything, Cheri?
Well, we're missing our pro-life outreach.
Talk about that.
St. Elizabeth Coleman has been in existence for over 100 years as well, helping women in crisis pregnancies and connecting them with people who would like to adopt their babies. One of the things that St. Elizabeth Coleman does is also help with international adoption.
So is there a phone number that somebody could use to call this place?
There is.
But you don't know what it is.
It's 787-3412.
787-3412. Do you work with the Women's Care Center, the O'Connor House, places like that?
We partner with them, yeah.
I've had those folks on my shows before.
Sure.
Right. I'm a pretty huge pro-life guy, partly because of my sister-in-law.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. See, I didn't know. I knew a few things, but I certainly don't know everything. Okay, we're down to the last couple of minutes. What else? Anything?
Well, we also provide legal immigration services for those that are here, that are undocumented, and being able to assist them from a legal point of view so that they would be documented.
Okay. Is there a general Catholic Charities phone number? What is that?
It's 317-236-1500.
And give the website one more time.
Helpcreatehope.org. It's really easy to remember.
HopeCreateHope.com. So if you're interested
.org.
.org. If you're interested in any of the stuff we've talked about, HopeCreateHope.org, or what's the phone number again?
317-236-1500.
That's Catholic Charities of Indianapolis. Cheri Bush, Dave Bethuram, thanks for being here. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.